Before you pitch any investors, you're going to need to know what are the right slides to present. And you're going to need to know the order those slides should be presented in. I've raised over $100 million in venture capital and private equity funding, and I've helped entrepreneurs like you raise rounds of between $50,000 and $150 million. In today's video, I'll show you the 10 slides you'll need in your investor pitch deck, the order these slides should be presented in, and I'll explain what you need to have on each slide. Plus, I'll share with you a bonus slide that will help push you over the top with any investor. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. Before I show you the slides, it's important to remember that you are telling a story when you are pitching. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to the story. The order I'm showing the slides in is the order that I found works best to tell the story of a startup. The topics are what investors are expecting you to cover during your pitch. So let's start with the cover slide. This is straightforward. You want to put your company name, your title, and your email address on the cover slide. Also, don't put a version number on the cover slide because when you get to version number 12, it makes it look like the deal is well shopped. Instead, just put the date you created this version of the deck. Notice the footer. You want to put company confidential, do not copy. It's a reminder to investors not to share your deck. It likely won't work, but it's still good to do. Now we're on to the executive summary slides, slides 2 and 3. First comes the problem slide. You want to explain the big problem you are trying to solve here. A few points here. First, you really want to dig into the pain your customers are experiencing with the existing solutions that are on the market. It should be really compelling to investors why customers are dying for a new solution. Second, you don't want to go into huge details in your executive summary. The idea here is giving investors a quick overview of the problem in 3 bullet points. Third, you want to make sure investors know this is a big opportunity. All you have to do is put the market size at the bottom of the slide. Next, we have the solution slide. The idea of this slide is you are solving the problem. So you want the bullet points you use on this slide to solve each of the problems presented in the bullet points on the problem slide. For example, let's say there are 3 problems customers currently have using the most popular solutions in the market. Your solution slide should show how you solve each of these 3 problems. Again, don't go into huge detail here. Keep it at the bullet point level. Now we've completed your executive summary. We're on to the team slide. Investors want to know that you have the right team to solve the problem. That's what the team slide should cover. So you don't need to do anything fancy here. Just list off the executive team with a couple bullet points per team member about their experience. A couple of key don'ts here. Number 1, don't add in advisors. Advisors are not part of your team. Number 2, don't add in board members. Investors can find that out later. Number 3, don't add in anyone that isn't a VP or C-level executive. However, if you have a large team, you can add in a bullet that says you have X engineers with Y years of experience. This gets the point across about the depth of your team. Next is the market slide. You want to answer 2 key questions with this slide. First, you want to explain the initial market you are going after now. That's your served available market, or SAM. Second, you want to explain the total available market, or TAM. The TAM should line up with your long-term vision for the company. So if you're starting with market A, that's your SAM. And if you intend to attack markets B and C later, then your TAM is A plus B plus C. Now, if you're wondering why the market comes at the beginning, it's because if the market doesn't make sense, then nothing else matters to investor. Market always comes first. Now we're on to the technology, how it works slide. The goal here is to show investors what they call your secret sauce. In other words, what's different about your solution? You want to go into enough detail here so investors can understand how your solution works. However, you don't want to go so deep technically that you lose your audience. It's a real balancing act. If you get this right, investors should understand what separates you from everyone else in the marketplace. Next comes the product roadmap slide. We've already told investors about our team, the market, and how our technology works. The next slide explains to investors what's happened and what's coming next. Again, this slide should tie to your long-term vision. If you released your initial product with key feature A, but you need to add key features B and C, then your roadmap should represent that. Show this in chronological order with specific dates. Don't go into too much detail about the product because you run the risk of losing your audience. After the product roadmap comes the competitive analysis. This is a critical slide in your deck because every startup has competition, and investors want to know how you think about the competition. This is your time to shine. You can win over investors by demonstrating your knowledge of the competition. And you can describe how you're different than the competition and hopefully better. Done right, you demonstrate integrity and build trust with investors. The next slide is an optional slide, but you should create it even if you don't decide to show this to investors. It's the why you should invest in a slide. Investors develop an internal investment memo about your startup before they invest. They will look at all angles, including why your startup will fail. Many of the questions they ask you will be there trying to understand if their thesis is right. So you need to be prepared. Developing a why you shouldn't invest in a slide helps you understand your weaknesses better, and it gives you an ability to answer investor questions around this question. Next is your go-to-market strategy slides. This is your marketing strategy. In other words, how are customers going to find your product? If you already have revenue and customers, then explain how you've gotten customers and how you're going to continue getting customers. If you don't have customers, then explain how you're going to acquire customers. A word of warning here. Put a lot of thought into the slide. You can have a great product, but you'll fail if you don't know how to make customers aware of it. Then we have your business model slide. You should explain how you make money on this slide. For example, let's say you were Stripe or Square, and your business model is you make 2% of every transaction. That's literally what you should explain here. Now we're on to the last slide, the financial slide. I am decidedly old school, but I think showing a simple pro forma financial slide with a few extras like cash and the number of employees you have is the right way to go. Here's why. I believe the goal of your pitch and your pitch deck is to make it easy for investors to decide whether or not to invest in your startup. So every slide should help them make this decision. Financials are all about numbers. So it makes sense to tell the story of your company in numbers to make it easier for investors. The best way to do this is with a simple pro forma spreadsheet, going out ideally 5 years. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button. Well, there you have it, all the slides you need to develop a pitch deck. What did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides I showed you today so you can develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video and it's yours for free. And for more great content, click the link on the video at the end of today's video too. If you haven't already, then click the subscribe button to get more great content for startup CEOs. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.